Welcome to this HelloID webinar brought to you by Tools Forever. Today we'd like to give you an overview of the new functionality in HelloID. We encourage you to ask questions. You can do this via the WebEx chat option. You can find the option here. At the end of the demonstration, your questions will be answered. I'd like to turn this over to Cheered Signin, HelloID Product Manager. He will explain and demonstrate the new HelloID functionality. Enjoy, and don't forget to post the questions.
Jamie, thank you again for the introduction. Welcome all to the release update webinar for 4.9. This is the release we released last Sunday. So, again, I have a PowerPoint presentation and I'd like to demo you the software. Let me turn on the pointer. Okay, the contents of this webinar. I'd like to go and cover different aspects. I like to show you the new fine-grained events that has been released last Sunday. I also covered that in a video and I will show you where you can find these videos. I will also give you a short update on the other new functionality. I have a couple of sheets and I will demo the fine-grained events. This I will only explain what we have done here. We now have the auto update agent. So this is the last time you have to install the new agent in your network, the 4.9 version, and from now onwards it will automatically update. So it's the last time you really have to do something with the agent, and in the future it will check every 12 hours, and then if there is an update it will do the update automatically at 5 o'clock p.m. a.m. In the morning, your local time. And I also like to show you the docs.helloid.com, and we made some changes there, so let me show them. So here I'm in the browser, go to docs.helloid.com, and this is the main homepage. The changelog that is changed, here are all the videos, and when I have new videos we will post them here. And here's in the video the fine-grained events. After this webinar, we will record this video webinar. We will also post this webinar in this video section as well. Another new item that was already available, but not this prominent, is the service status. Here you can see what the current status of the HelloID platform is. And of course there are different sections, and you can see over time what the changes and perhaps the reasons for downtime was. So if there is something wrong with your portal, you can check this link to see if something is wrong with the portal, with your HelloID portal. You can also subscribe, and you can do that by email, but also by SMS. You can just fill in your details, and then you're going to be automatically updated if something is wrong with our portal. Okay, go back to the PowerPoint presentation. That was this section, and at the end, after the demo, I will give you a global roadmap for provisioning, and I will give a heads up for the coming releases, the 10 and 11. And we also switch from numbering, so we now have 4.9, but we switch over from the year to the month. So it's easy to see that we are, of course, in year 2018. And then this is 10, that's the October release, and of course 11 will be the November release. Okay, so let me dig into the fine-grained events. And of course I already covered this by the video. You can find that on docs.helloid.com. This is functionality that is already available in HelloID, that we can connect to any sort of source system, and that we can update the Vault, the Cosmos, and that will generate events. And it can be created, updated, or deleted event. So if something is changing here, for example in the HR system, that will cause a change in the Vault, and then a subsequent event will occur. Now this was not in the current or in the old situation, 4.8 release, all the events were going to be fired off. But perhaps you want to create a more detailed level of events. And this is the fine-grained event element. So now you can say if the updated event occurs, you want to do something 10 days before the onboarding. So you want to specify a specific condition before the action will be fired off. So you don't want to have all actions being fired off, but only this action, to send an email to the manager to inform that somebody is going to be onboarded via the HR system. The next fine-grained event is then 5 days before onboarding. Perhaps you want to create a disabled Active Directory account. And then on the day itself, you want to enable the account. Perhaps you want to do some group memberships. In the old situation, then you had the updated event, and then all these actions would occur at the same time. Now you can say you want to specify and it's going to be more fine-grained. I think that's obvious. So let me show you how you can configure this. So let me demo this. So now I'm logging in the backend portal as the administrator, and can go to automation, events, and this is the section that has been changed. So I'm going to persons. This is the same as I showed you in the PowerPoint presentation, and here this is new. This column is new. These are the fine-grained events. So I click here, 10 days before onboarding, then this action or the task will be executed. An email will be sent to the manager. 5 days before onboarding, a disabled account will be created in the Active Directory, and on the day itself, the account will be enabled, the AD groups will be set, and there will be a top desk ticket will be created in the ITSM top desk, for the top desk system for auditing purposes. Okay, so instead of that, in the old situation, then on the create event, then all these actions would be executed at the same time. And now I have the option to set a specific condition before this task will be executed. So these are all update events, but only this one will be executed based on a particular condition. So here I can say if 5 days before onboarding is 1, so if it's true, then this action will be executed. If I go here, go to this section, then this 10 days, so then this should be true, and then this action will be executed. So let me show you how you can configure this. This is still a little bit difficult because here I have to make a reference to the vault. But this will help you to do an edit object. First I have to select an example user. So Mike, and here I can edit the object. So it's employment, and here I have these extra variables. I actually created this for this demo. Number of days before onboarding is 5, so 5 days before onboarding value is true, is 1. And 10 days is not true, but it already has been true. I can also edit the old value because it's an update, so you have an old and new value. And here I can say stop editing. And now I can see that the trigger is, you can see that it is 1, so it should trigger. And here you can see the event hook will trigger because it's 1. If I change this to 0, you'll see it will not trigger. So it should be, so now it will trigger. I can also switch to a more advanced code editor, and here I can make any other modifications, and I can just type in JavaScript and make far more complex. This is still a simple one, but if I say 10 days, create this 10 because that I know that's 10, and it will trigger. I can switch back to the more friendly editing mode, and now I still can see that the event hook will trigger, and then these actions will be executed. Okay, so this is the demo. Of course, I can show you a lot more functionality, but I also cover that in other videos and in other webinars. Let me know if you have any questions. I will answer them at the end of the webinar. So let me switch back to the PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so these are the elements I already covered. I explained the fine-grained events, I demo it, I explained this, and now I like to, because it seems like that everything is available in provisioning. That is true, but it's also not true. So let me give you a global overview of the roadmap for provisioning on stuff that is already available and that is coming available. The blue blocks are already available and the red blocks still needs to be done. The gray are external systems. So if you have this flow, and I explained the mapper before, the vault, the events, the fine-grained events, the mapper, the tasks. So you can already have a change in the HR system. It can be mapped onto the vault. It create an event, a fine-grained event. It will be mapped on a task and it will actually create an Active Directory account. That is already available and it works. We actually also have that already in production. And of course this is all part of provisioning. But there are still some elements missing because we are doing provisioning for a long time now already with Umbra and of course with IAM. If you really look at the higher end provisioning technology, you need more functionality than this blue blocks. So these are the additional red blocks. And this is stuff that we come to deliver to you in the coming months. And I think in 2 weeks from now, we will give a detailed roadmap and update on when these red blocks will be delivered to you. So one of the first things we come to do is the functions. And you need the functions, I don't know if you remember or perhaps you need to see the video, but the mapper is already powerful, but you can put in JavaScript, but you need, that's not really a pretty and nice way to do it. So functions will be a lot easier and more easier to read to put a complexer functionality in the mapper. This is one of the first things we will do. This is another one, and that's the evaluation. So on top of the vault, you can run evaluation functions, and they will trigger or re-trigger actually the vault. As I showed you in the fine-grained events, if nothing is happening in the HR system in the 5 and 10 days and the day itself on onboarding, if nothing is changing in HR, nothing will actually happen. It will not trigger the event. This evaluation process will trigger that event. So it will actually make sure that on 10 days, 5 days, and on the day itself, it will create an event, even if nothing is changing in HR. That is this block, and it's pretty important to have the events working as what I already explained to you today. We need the linker so that an Active Directory can also be seen as a source system, and that is being linked to the HR data. That's this block. And then you have a Cosmos in the vault. You have one integrated view of a person and the Active Directory accounts they have. So you need a linker to do that. And then you can also use the naming convention. So if a new person onboards, you can actually check what AD accounts are already available, and then you can do a naming convention algorithm to find a new name that can be used in the mapper and be a new account be created in the Active Directory. That's another block you need. This is another one, Insights. It will have a better overview. You already have the browser and the history and event overview, but with Insights you have a more detailed overview. And you can actually run reports like what was the last changes that happened over all the persons. Now you have to go per person, but then you can look over all persons at once. You can also see upcoming events. So that makes it more easy and you have more grip on the whole provisioning process. The tasks today are being fired off not in a sequential way, so they're at random, they're going to be executed. You also going to put them in sequence. And the last thing is RBAC, role-based access control. That's going to be also one of the last elements we're going to put in provisioning. Of course, you can already do pieces of RBAC, but then with this block you can do very sophisticated RBAC or access governance functionality. Okay, so don't think that provisioning is already available today. It is, but we're also missing some key elements to bring it really at a higher level. Okay, so let's go to the other elements. So I've covered all these items, and now I want to give you a heads up of the upcoming releases. So the first release that's coming is the next month, the October release, and that will not be a big functionality release. We just will release some small items and primarily the changes in the management portal. And that's very interesting for our managed service providers that are being using our portal. The next release, the November release, is going to be interesting and very likely going to include the functions that are already covered in the provisioning overview, and that's the functions to put JavaScript in functions and to make the mapper more readable. I just covered that in the other overview. The most important thing that we're working on for quite some time already are the dynamic forms, and I have some screenshots in this webinar, in this PowerPoint presentation, and I'd like to show you the upcoming functionality. So this is part of service automation. It's also part of the self-service product sections. So there will be new type of product, and if you open the product, then a form will open, and then this will be the form. The form will have different options. You can edit. Do this first. You can have an edit field, so I can edit. I can enter my name details. Also, there can be formatting. This is a combo select, and that will have an impact on this section. So if I make a modification change here, it will unhide, and this is of course corresponding to this option. I can also have an input filter. So not very extremely powerful, but already some flexibility and some interesting items to edit the form. So the most important thing here is how to edit and create a form. So this is the backend, part of the admin. I'm logged in as an admin. This product section already available, and then this is new. So you can create a form, and of course there is a combo select, so I can create more forms, as I already showed you with the approval workflow. And that's interesting. I can use this, all the functionality that you're already familiar with the products in HelloID is available for the forms as well. So I can define and use a form, get input from the user, route it via a workflow that's already available, and then I can execute actions, also available. And all the data that's being entered by the end user, I can use them in the actions. And this all functionality will be available in the 2.18.11 in the November release. So how can you create a form? And this is not finished yet, but here is a form preview. So if I make, this is still in JSON, but there will be a graphical interface where you can drag and drop elements like an edit box and a combo select, etc. Or this is, of course, radio button select. So this will be a graphical interface. Hopefully, in the next webinar, I can show you how that will look like. Another element that we have to do is to create a mapper from the input to a task. That's also another item. So this will be more graphical. But here I can just, everything that I'm changing here is already being updated here in a live preview. So this is the end of the webinar, and of course you can ask the questions, and I already saw that there are some questions. You can also send in questions based on the videos or the preview or the questions you already can just send them to iSupport@toolsforever.com, and then I will cover them here in the webinar. So Jamie, what are the questions?
Thanks, Sheard. I do have a question here. Is it possible to invert the expression? So, for example, execute a group of tasks if the condition is not true?
So basically what you want to do, you want to make the expression negative. So you want to have, you want to invert the condition. So I think it's best is to show you in the condition how to do that. So here I'm in the fine-grained events. So basically what you're saying is that, or the question is that if I create this as a 0, then I actually make the expression negative. So now it will occur if the 5 days before onboarding is 0. And then this event will occur, and then the actions will be executed. Actually, pretty straightforward. But this is the way how to do that.
Second question here. What's the level of expertise required to manage this platform in the future? Will I, as a sysadmin, be able to make changes to this platform?
Yes, this is the intentional goal for the product. This is how we have set up HelloID, where we started off 4 years ago with access management. And one of the major goals is keep it simple and to perhaps complex functionality, but easy to configure. So it's definitely the goal, and I think we also accomplished that you as a sysadmin can maintain the platform itself. And perhaps we need to pre-configure it to make sure you can put it in production. But then afterwards, yes, for sure, you can make modifications to the platform and you can maintain and support and extend the functionality yourself. I think the best way to see it is to start using the functionality yourself. We have videos, of course, with the webinars, but also the documentation available to help you out and to start using the platform.
Okay, third question. Will the dynamic forms support wizards? Let's see here. Specifically, go from one form to the other, collect input from the end user, kick off the workflow, and process the data in one go?
No, the first release, the forms release that will be released in November, will not support wizard steps, so multi-step to go from one form to the other. That will not be available yet. That will be released later on, perhaps in December, otherwise in January. But it's definitely on the roadmap to support wizard input forms, to collect more information, perhaps to use dynamic steps in the wizard, so that will be sophisticated. And yes, we will support that functionality.
Will it be possible to have a combo select boxes on database queries?
Yes, it's an interesting question. Of course, you want to have a form where you collect information perhaps from an HR system to sub-select job title or department or location. Perhaps you want to get that from a database or from the IDP or perhaps even from the identity management vault. But no, yes, we understand that question and it's definitely on the roadmap. But again, it will not be available in the first release. That again will be later on released, but it's definitely in scope to have that available in the forms.
Last question I'm showing cheered. Will it be possible to pre-populate the fields in a form?
Yeah, it will be possible to pre-populate the fields, so get data from other sources. For example, you want to edit your own details, you can pre-populate your own data into a form. So we will use the mapper technology that is already known to you for, I showed it as part of the provisioning process, where you can map data from HR to the vault, but you can use that same mechanism to map information from the vault to a form and to pre-populate fields in the form. Okay, well, thank you all for your attention and time. It's a little bit longer than I anticipated, but hopefully we'll meet again in a month from now. In the meantime, if you have any questions, remarks, please let us know. We help you out. Okay, thank you and see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.